Hey, good morning, class. Welcome in. This is our last discussion in Unit 1, and we're going to wrap things up today discussing the Indus River Valley civilizations. We have talked about ancient Mesopotamia, we've talked about ancient Egypt, and we want to kind of wrap everything up for Unit 1 with the Indus River Valley civilizations. So let's jump into it and let's talk about where this civilization was at. Okay, so geographers are often going to refer to the landmass that includes India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan as the Indian subcontinent. So it's almost a small continent on its own. All right, it is that big, where it kind of juts out from the rest of Asia. A wall of the highest mountains in the world, the Hindu Kush, the Karakoram, and the Himalayas, separate the region from the rest of the Asian continent. So these mountain ranges form a natural border between the Indian subcontinent and the rest of Asia. This wall of mountains helped protect the Indus Valley from foreign invasion. Okay, so remember, location is important. Geographic features are important to these civilizations and their survival. Okay, so the mountain ranges guard an enormous flat and fertile plain that is formed by the Indus and Ganges rivers. Rivers seem to be a common theme. The Indus is going to flow from the Himalayas to the Arabian Sea, while the Ganges is going to flow from the Himalayas to the Bay of Bengal. These powerful rivers would carry silt, which is also necessary for thriving agriculture. Below these river plains, all right, the enormous region was known as the Deccan Plateau, and this dominates southern India. Okay, now we do have to understand there's a geographic and a weather phenomenon that's going to occur in this area, and these are seasonal winds, and these are known as monsoons. Okay, they are going to occur each winter and summer in India, and these still occur to this day. All right, from October to February, the winds blow dry air westward across the country. Excuse me. From June to October, the winds will shift eastward. All right, these powerful winds accompany great rain clouds. All right, the powerful storms bring so much precipitation that intense flooding often occurs. Folks, if you've ever seen footage of rainfall in India and places like Bangladesh, the rainfall it's insane. The amount of water that comes through, the flooding that occurs, it's almost inhabitable because people can't live in these kind of conditions with this amount of rainwater being dumped on them every single year. It's very difficult, but the people have adapted and have adjusted to the seasonal monsoons. All right, if the summer monsoons fail to occur, then what's going to happen is we see severe drought. All right, and this will destroy all the crops in that seasonal rotation. Okay, so like ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, the Indus River Valley is going to face a lot of environmental challenges. First, flooding was unpredictable. Okay, therefore, the deposits of rich soil wasn't always a guarantee. Okay, so sometimes the floods would not occur, and that rainwater, those nutrients, were not being transferred or carried over. All right. Second, the Ganges and the Indus rivers would sometimes change course. So sometimes if the rivers are changing course, this could also alter some of the plans that the civilization may have had. Lastly, the cycle of wet and dry seasons was also unpredictable. If there was little rain, crops would die. If there was too much rain, crops would die, and entire towns would be wiped out. Okay? So again, this area is walking a tightrope when it comes to the wet and the dry seasons. All right. Now, civilization is going to emerge along the Indus. All right. Historians don't know as much about the Indus River Valley civilization, but they do know that they can decipher their language and some aspects of their culture. All right. Many feel that nomads made their way through the Khyber Pass and over the Hindu Kush Mountains to settle into this region. Okay, there is evidence of agriculture dating back to as far as 7,000 BC. Whoa, that's a long time ago. Okay, there's also evidence of domesticating sheep and goats. So domestication is going to be important. Domestication is essentially man's way of controlling animals and using them for human benefit. So we domesticate our dogs and our cats. We domesticate farm animals for growing them for food. This is something that's been going on since the times of these ancient civilizations. Okay, now as the Egyptians were creating their pyramids, the Indus civilizations were laying brick. All right, they were laying brick in their first cities. All right, they built strong levees. All right, to keep the water out. These were earthen walls. If these broke, all right, the Indus people would develop human islands to basically rise their cities above the floodwaters. Okay, there's an old Led Zeppelin song, "When the Levee Breaks." So if this was to occur, there would be some major issues, and the Indus River people would have to adjust to those issues. Nearly 100 ancient cities have been discovered in this area. Okay, the most famous of which are the Kalibangan, the Mohenjo-daro, and the Harappa. Okay, the Indus people are sometimes known as the Harappan civilization because of all the archaeological discoveries at that site. So a lot of times when we think Indus River Valley, we think of the Harappan people. Okay, there's a good map here. It really gives you an idea of where the Indus River civilization resided. You can take a look at Mohenjo-daro. You can take a look at where the mountain ranges are and essentially where the civilization is nestled. So you have those natural boundaries with the Himalayas, with the Hindu Kush, all right, but then you also have the civilization right along the Indus or the Ganges rivers, okay? All right, now let's talk about planned cities. The Harappan people used a maze of winding streets and created an intricate grid system for their cities. Yeah, they're creating essentially a maze or a labyrinth. At the heart of the city was the citadel. So this was a fortified area that contained all of the important buildings, okay? Buildings were being built with bricks, and the Harappans developed a web of sophisticated sewage and plumbing systems. Imagine that. Okay, so think about this. Think about how much filth there is if there wasn't a sewage system. Okay, so the Harappans were taking it upon themselves to live a very clean life. So they wanted to have accurate plumbing and sewage to carry out waste. Okay, because of this planning, many historians feel the Harappans had built a very strong central government. Now let's talk about the Harappan culture. So language, unlike cuneiform and hieroglyphics, the Harappan language has been impossible to decipher. All right, about 400 symbols exist, and these are all carved on stones. Okay, the culture, the Harappans had a unique uniformity in religion. Early precedents for the Hindu religion are evident. So we're going to talk about the Hindu religion later on this year, and it kind of originates with the Harappan people. Social classes were not distinguished, and the Harappans were not a war-based society, so they were mostly a peace and love type of society. All right, trade was abundant. All right, gold and silver would come in from Afghanistan. Precious stones would come in from Persia. All right, and these waterways allowed access for a lot of trade. Okay, the Indus River Valley also provided easy access to the sea, and this is allowing goods to be imported and exported. So again, these waterways are incredibly important for trade and commerce. Okay, so how did the Harappans fall apart? Well, around 1750 BC, historians believe that the Harappan civilization began to fall apart. Buildings and their cities fell into decay. Many historians, there's a lot of theories about what happened and how it occurred. They felt that there were a lot of natural disasters. So there were a lot of major earthquakes and major floods that contributed to this downfall. So again, this area is a very it's kind of a hot spot. Again, on fault lines, you've got a lot of overflooding due to the monsoons. So time and time again, if this civilization is being hit or stricken with these natural disasters, the people again we're going to not survive, and that's what's going on here. All right, trade, agriculture, communication was severed. And it would be hundreds of years before a new Indian civilization would prosper. Okay, so a lot of historians attribute natural disasters as to why the Harappan civilization fell apart. Okay? All right, hey, that's it. That's our fifth and final discussion. We are really going to emphasize test prep this week. We're going to get ready for our first kind of open-ended test, which will be reflection-based. We're going to talk about that this week. I want to make sure I emphasize it. We're going to have a Kahoot, which will be fun, and that'll be more of like a kind of trivia in a sense. And then we're going to have a test window for when the test will be available, and you can take it at any time during that window. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay, I'm going to head out, but it's been really good discussing these civilizations, and looking forward to getting ready for our test prep. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.